Greetings, night owls and brave listeners. Today we're going to dive into something dark. Something that shouldn't be spoken out loud. But hey, you came here to scare. So here we go. The House in the Pines. A terrifying story for late-night listeners. It started as any weekend trip would, with a packed car, a playlist of old indie rock tunes, and two friends chasing the quiet thrill of the wilderness. Elena and Jake had been hiking together for years. They loved the forest, the silence, the mystery, the way the trees whispered secrets when the wind passed through them. This time, they were exploring the Pine Hollow Trail in northern Michigan, a place known for its thick woods, cold lakes, and a few scattered legends about people who'd gone missing after wandering too far from the path. They didn't believe in ghost stories. Not really. But they were about to. Flashlight Chapter 1, Lost. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, they realized something was wrong. The map said they should have reached the campsite an hour ago. Instead, they stood at the edge of a clearing, surrounded by dense trees that all looked the same in the fading light. "I think we took a wrong turn," Elena said, checking her phone. No signal. Of course. Jake shrugged. "We'll just follow this trail back." But there was no trail anymore. Just moss-covered ground, twisted roots, and the occasional flicker of movement between the trees. Then they heard it. A low hum. Like a voice whispering something just out of hearing range. Elena froze. "Did you hear that?" Jake nodded slowly. "Probably just the wind." But neither of them moved. Then came the sound again, clearer this time. "Get out." Not wind. Not animals. Someone, or something, was speaking. Derelict House Chapter 2, The House. They followed the voice. Or maybe they just wandered in that direction without realizing it. After walking for what felt like hours, the trees began to thin. And then they saw it. A house. Old. Wooden. Paint peeling like dead skin. Windows shattered. A porch that sagged under its own weight. There was no road nearby. No signs of life. Who even lives here? Elena asked quietly. No one, Jake said. It's abandoned. Still, the door was open. Swung wide, as if someone had left in a hurry. Inside, the air was cold, unnaturally so. Dust covered every surface, but strangely, there were no cobwebs. Just silence. Heavy, pressing silence. Elena turned on her flashlight. The beam landed on a hallway stretching into darkness. And something moved. Just a shadow. Or maybe not. She blinked. Nothing was there. You saw that, right? She whispered. Jake didn't answer. He was staring at the wall behind her. She turned. Written in black paint across the wallpaper was a single sentence. You shouldn't have come in. Chapter 3, Watching. They tried to leave. The front door wouldn't close. The windows were locked from the inside. Their phones were gone. Every step they took echoed louder than it should have. As if someone else was walking with them. In the living room, they found a pile of photographs. Old family photos. A man, a woman, a little girl. All smiling. Except in the last one. The girl wasn't smiling. Her eyes were wide. Her mouth stretched open in a scream. And in the background, standing behind her parents, was a tall figure in a black coat. Faceless. Elena dropped the photo. It made no sound when it hit the floor. Suddenly, Jake gasped. He pointed to the mirror on the wall. At first, they saw themselves. Then, behind Elena, the reflection changed. The faceless figure stood there, watching. Elena screamed. Jake grabbed her hand and pulled her away. They ran upstairs. Doors slammed shut behind them. Chapter 4, Voices. On the second floor, they found more rooms. Each one empty. Except one. A child's bedroom. Tiny bed. Pink curtains. Dolls lined up neatly on the shelf. One doll was missing an eye. The other was staring directly at them. Then they heard it again. Get out. This time, it was louder. From behind the wall. They followed the sound to a closet. Jake opened it. Empty. But written on the inside of the door, in red. She's still here. Drop of Blood Chapter 5, She wasn't alone. That night, they decided to stay. They couldn't leave. The doors wouldn't open. The windows wouldn't break. So they lit a small fire in the fireplace and huddled together, whispering. What do you think happened here? Elena asked. Jake shook his head. I don't know. But I don't think we're alone. Then they heard footsteps. Above them. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone dragging their feet across the attic floor. Elena looked up. A hatch was visible in the ceiling. It was closed. But something was scratching from the other side. Then, suddenly, it opened. A rope dropped down. And a small foot appeared. Bare. Pale. Attached to a child's leg. It stepped onto the floor. Then another. The girl from the photos. No expression. Just hollow eyes and a mouth that curled into a smile that never stopped growing. Jake grabbed Elena's hand. Run! They sprinted toward the stairs. Behind them, the girl giggled. High-pitched. Unnatural. Then came the others. Figures emerging from the shadows. Men. Women. Children. All pale. All smiling. Some had teeth. Others didn't. They weren't real. They couldn't be. But they were closing in. Candle Chapter 6, The Final Door. They found a door in the basement. Locked. Jake kicked it open. Inside was a tunnel. Dark. Cold. They went in. The walls were wet. The air smelled like rot. Then the tunnel opened into a large room. At the center was a stone altar. Chains hanging from the ceiling. Symbols carved into the floor. And a book. bound in leather, covered in blood. Elena reached for it. Jake stopped her. Too late. She touched it. Her eyes rolled back. And she whispered, "You belong now." Brain Chapter 7. One didn't make it out. Jake doesn't remember how he got out. One moment, he was screaming Elena's name. The next, he was lying in the grass outside the house. Dawn was breaking. The house was gone. Just trees. And silence. He walked for miles before finding help. When the police searched the area, they found nothing. No house. No bodies. No sign of anything ever being there. But Jake knew. Something was still inside that house. And Elena? She wasn't coming back. Months later, Jake received a letter. No return address. Inside was a photograph of him, standing in front of the house, smiling. His eyes were hollow. His mouth stretched too wide. And on the back, written in red ink, "Your turn."